being a man of God is more important than being an alpha male. Like, being an alpha male is more so societal and worldly, right? What I'm chasing as an alpha male is not the same thing as what I'm chasing when I pursue being a man of God. They're two different things. That's at least how I see it. Alpha males predicate themselves on status and achievement and how others perceive them, and all of those things ultimately mean nothing. They don't mean anything if we're being honest, because how much of that can you take to the next life? Yeah, we all want to, be remembered, but I'd rather be remembered for my character, who I was as a person, what I did for others. That lives on forever, way farther than what I achieved. You know what I'm saying? The amount of money I had, the amount of status I had, it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, let's get into the first point. God's standard versus the world standard, man. Like I was just speaking on, being an alpha male is worldly, man. It defines masculinity through dominance and power and status. And these things are false. They don't matter. They're irrelevant. None of those things help you get into the kingdom of God when it's all said and done. They don't do anything for you. They add no value to your life in the next life. You know what I'm saying? They have a perceived value here on this world, but we all know there's more than just this world. After this, we're going somewhere else, man. So chasing this value, what is it doing? You know what I'm saying? What is it doing for you? God's definition of a man is measured by it's not measured by how many people fear him or respect him. It's measured by how he treats others and how closely he follows the will of God, right? Not acting on his own accord, acknowledging the Lord first and foremost, right? And then being a blessing to others, doing for others first. We live in a selfish culture. So like the idea of I would do for others before I do for myself seems foreign today. But I'm here to tell you that that is what God sees when he's looking for men of God, right? His definition of a man is predicated on those things. A man who turns to God first, a man with good character, a man who does for others before himself, right? The man with status, what does that do for the Lord? He looks at that and it's like, I mean, okay. Like, the Waka Flocka meme, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to anyone else, quite frankly. We set out to achieve these things as being an alpha male, right? But it doesn't do anything. It gets you nowhere in the grand scheme. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the second point, man. True strength comes from God, not self-reliance. The alpha male mentality says that we should rely on ourselves and do for ourselves and like being a go-getter, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna go get it. Like, I did this. I, me. And it's not the right mentality to have. None of this is possible with God. Nothing you've done in your lifetime, nothing you've achieved, nothing you've accomplished happened without God. It just wasn't going to happen without the Lord. Whether you acknowledged him or not, it did not happen without him. It only happened because of him. And that's something we have to accept. There is nothing you've done in your life. There's nothing you have had in your life that God did not allow. You have it and you did it because he allowed it to happen, right? Society tells men to be self-sufficient and to not show weakness, to not ask for help, and to have things figured out. And that's toxic. If we're being real, that's toxic, man. I'm someone, I'm 22. I have a lot on my plate. And I even feel at times like, dang, I don't have it together. Like I look out into the world and see people got their stuff together. They achieving these things. Like, I'm going to use this as an example. I'm 22, right? Look at Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat is 22. And if we compare the two, I would look at that and be like, wow, he got it together. He doing X, Y, and Z. When in reality, none of that matters. None of it matters. And I'm not speaking down on him as a person. I don't know him as a person, right? He's a funny guy. He's entertaining. But to compare myself to the world and not to God is silly. Why am I comparing myself to man? To what other men have done? You know what I'm saying? It does nothing. It does nothing for me. And the idea of this hustle culture and having things figured out, that's exhausting, man. Even me, I'm like, oh yeah, because I got to have all this money and I got to be grinding. And it's like, what do you have time for yourself? Do you have time to rest your mental? Do you have time for God? Do you have time for your family, right? Like I said, I have a family. Like, if I'm out here 5 days a week working full time, then on my off days, I'm grinding some more. It's like, dang, do you have time to mend the relationships in your life or to, you know what I'm saying? Care for the people around you, to care for yourself. You know what I'm saying? There was a Sabbath day for a reason in the Bible, right? You can't grind and hustle all the time. You're going to burn yourself out. But that's like what society's pushing right now is that kind of culture. The man of God understands that strength isn't about acting like you need everything, but it's about relying on God first and foremost, but then being able to go to others for help, right? And I'm speaking to myself right now. I'm very self-reliant. Not out of just like trying to be an alpha male, but I feel like that's just who I am to this point, and I want to change that. I don't really ask anyone for help. I try to do things on my own. I tell myself that I can get it done or I can do it all, and that's not how that works. Your confidence, you know what I'm saying, and your strength comes from knowing that no matter what, God is in control and he has your back and he will make things happen for you. If you acknowledge him, right? You can't just be doing your own thing and be like, oh, God's going to work it out. Yeah, you're going to work it out. And you're going to be somewhere hurting. But if we acknowledge him and put him first, our strength will come through knowing that God is a way maker, right? Let's go to that third point. Leadership is about service and not control, man. As men, we tend to think leadership is about making decisions, making all the decisions, having the final say so, or demanding respect. And I don't think that's right. I think that's more so about control. Again, as I'm doing this video, I'm speaking to myself. There is a lot in this that I need to break down within myself as well. But that's more so about control, man. Leadership is about leading by example, right? And it's what can you do to others, for others, How can you serve others? It's about being selfless. It's not about being acknowledged, right? Like the tribal chief Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge me.
Right? That's not what it's about. It's more so about serving. Being a leader isn't about being seen as this head honcho or being this head honcho or having everyone look to you. Like at that point, you almost looking to be worshipped. You know what I'm saying? Like I want everyone to turn to me as the head, but I'd much rather be a leader in the sense that I do for others and support those around me. Like, for example, being the head of my household, I don't make all the decisions. Like, I'm not the final say so. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe in that. Me and my, my woman, we turn to each other for decisions. You know what I'm saying? Or when things need to be hashed out, it's not like, oh, my word over hers. It's let's do this together. Let's come to conclusions. You know what I'm saying? That's more so how I see it. I think that's more being a man of God, whereas the alpha male is going to command being that one and only, on top. A true man of God does not demand respect. Respect is earned, right? A man of God earns his respect by what he does for others, man. Think about anyone who, like any of y'all watching this who've had a job. Let's say one of your managers is just terrible, right? And then he commands respect all the time. He or she, honestly, commands respect all the time, tells you what to do, makes it seem as if you have to listen and follow them. Versus you have a manager who takes care of his workers, his associates, man. You know what I'm saying? He does nice things for y'all. If he sees you struggling, he'll go over and help. Or let's say you're getting slammed and it's pretty busy. They'll put themselves on the work floor and do the work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a true leader. That is a leader and someone who cares for their people, man. Let's go to that next point. The fruit of the Spirit defines a real man, right? Being tough and aggressive does not make you a man. Despite what this world and this culture will tell you, that does not make you a man. It doesn't. It makes you not likable. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say. It makes you not likable. Like, who wants to be around someone always flexing a muscle? You know what I'm saying? Like, walking around like big tough guy. Like, that's often not the most well-received person in the room. Although that person may think it. They may think that by doing that, flexing their muscle, they are perceived as like the dominant person, but no one's looking at you that way. That doesn't get you any brownie points. Like, no one, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't do anything for you. Anyone can be this loud, aggressive, and intimidating person. And that, most of y'all should know, the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room, bro. There is no room of people where the person doing all the boasting and flexing is the strongest person. That's not how that works. The strongest person in the room, if we're being honest, and it's not even just physically, but like strongest mentally, physically, things of that nature, is more often the person that says the least. Because they know that there is no need to show off or the peacock. You know what I'm saying? That's the word, peacocking. There's no need for it. It's just for show. That tough guy persona is for show. It does nothing, man. But characteristics such as patience and being kind to others and having a good spirit and a good heart, right? Controlling your emotions, things like that. That speaks to being a man more than showing off does. You know what I'm saying? It does way more for you. People see your character and judge and weigh that more than just, you walked in the room all big and bad. You know what I'm saying? That character is going to get you way farther than anything else could. And more often than not, if you're boasting, trying to be this guy or look like this guy, more often than not, people can see through that. And people, if you put your best foot forward in being a good person, people can see that as well. So just be mindful of what kind of image you're putting out there. You know what I'm saying? What are you showing people? A man of God is not ruled by pride and the need to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? A man of God is faithful and led by the Spirit. It's all about what's on the inside, right? I can make myself look like whatever, but that's not what really matters, man. Let's go to that last point. Jesus is the ultimate example of manhood. If we want to know what real men look like, it's not on social media. It's not on the internet. It's not on TV. The example for what a real man is, does, walks like, talks like is Jesus Christ. It's in the Bible, right? That's why it's important, speaking to myself again, for every man watching this, crack open the Bible, man. Jesus is the example for how we should carry out our lives. Jesus is the most powerful person to have walked this planet, man. Jesus wasn't here searching for money. How many women could he get? How many women he could sleep with? How many houses and cars he could buy? His status. It wasn't about that, man. He performed miracles for others. He served others. He was washing feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't even fathom doing that, right? But he was an example for how a true man should live their life. And with Jesus having this tremendous power, he never boasted. He never bragged. He never felt the need for people to look at him as this figure. He was actually the opposite. He was humble. He didn't want people to know. He would perform miracles for people and told them, speak nothing of this. This didn't happen. He didn't want to be seen as the person who was this larger than life figure. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do what he did to be an alpha male. He came to love, serve, and sacrifice for others, right? That's where your character comes from as a man. And it doesn't come from this world. It doesn't come from society. Society is ran by man, not like men literally, but men and women, just average human beings. What do we know? Nothing. We don't know anything. We know nothing about who we should be as people. We can't figure that out on our own. But God, it's in the Bible. Like, if we read, it will show us the kind of people we need to be. It will show us the kind of men we need to be, the kind of people we want to live this life as, man. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. This is probably one of my longer ones, but it needed to be made. Shout out to my girlfriend for the idea. Like, she gave me the idea for this video, and it was really needed making this. It did a lot for me, and I hope it does a lot for y'all, man. So yeah, till next time.